As far as preparing for the debates, I am who I am. I don't know. I've never debated before. I'm not a debater. I have no idea how I'll do. Maybe I'll do terribly.
Donald Trump issuing disclaimers as the first Republican debate nears. While Trump continues to lead substantially in the national polls, could he win the first debate? Well, let's bring in some folks to talk about it here on our panel. First, Skyping in from Tampa, Democratic media strategist Franco Ripple, who's also the vice president of Cape Cod Communications, or Cape Cod Public Relations. Also joining us from our Newsmax TV newsroom, the managing editor of the Shark Tank political blog, Javier Manjarres, and from Newsmax New York, Ray Negron, who is a Newsmax blogger and a consultant to the New York Yankees. Ray, let's begin with you. Donald Trump says he is not going to practice for this debate. Is that smart?
Listen, I think sometimes it's the best way. Sometimes it's better just to go right in and come guns blazing.
Well, you know, it's interesting because in baseball, you got 162 regular season games, and it's a little different with practice, but at least you get to the ballpark and take batting practice. Trump is not going to sit down and do anything he would tell us in terms of structuring or timing his answers. Javier, as a consultant, when you hear this, does he have the genius to almost play this by ear? Or will it be a real problem for him?
Listen, I'm sure Mr. Trump is prepping for this debate. He'd be foolish not to, just like it'd be foolish for anyone to dismiss his candidacy. He's prepping for this, I'm pretty sure of that.
Well, Franco, let me ask you. I know you're looking at this with some curiosity from the other side of the aisle. Do you believe what Javier is saying, that Trump's saying he's not going to prepare and he's talking everything down, but really he's intensively getting ready for this thing?
Well, it's an interesting case of what you usually see candidates trying to tamp down expectations and talking up all their opponents. This is kind of an interesting case of the reverse of that. He's saying, you know, I'm Donald Trump. I don't need to practice. I have $4 to $10 billion at my disposal. I don't need to practice for this. But I will go a step further and disagree with my friend, and I will dismiss Donald Trump's candidacy, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm sure we're going to get into all of them.
There we go again.
Well, it's good. We have a little churn here. Take a look at the polling, what we call in the business the crosstabs. Some other questions other than overall popularity. Of course, Trump may be issuing disclaimers about the debate, but he says Hispanics are going to love him as president. Hispanics will vote for him. But the latest NBC News Wall Street Journal poll has a little different view of this. 75% of Latinos view Donald Trump unfavorably. 61% say their view is very negative. Ray Negron, I'm interested in your take on this. Donald says in Nevada he leads among Hispanics. Is this a real problem for Donald Trump?
We still got a ways to go, and I think that in essence, by the time he needs to do what he has to do, the people will understand the concept of what he really does want to do for the Hispanic person. I've known of Mr. Trump for a long time, and I know the aspect of what he really wants for the people, for the Hispanic person. I know that he has a lot of people that work for him over in at the new golf course and things like that, of which I've asked him before. I actually did a tournament over there way before all this even started, and I asked the people that work there, how does he treat you? And to a man, I mean, whether they were Dominican, Puerto Rican, Venezuelan, whatever, they said that, you know, he's always treated them great, and you know, I mean, that's really all I can say on it.
So, Franco, from the Democratic side, are you guys saying go Trump because he would be in jeopardy with the Hispanic community, in your view?
Well, first of all, I do believe those poll numbers, the same poll numbers that Donald Trump says he doesn't believe, or that he's not going to invest in polling like the seasoned political candidate that he is. But what people dislike more than Hispanics dislike Donald Trump is they dislike a hypocrite. And here's a guy who says, hey, we're going to close the borders and kick them all out and not let any of those darn immigrants into this country. Here's a guy who has brought nearly 1,100 foreign workers on H-2B visas into this country to work for his companies over the last 15 years. And guess what? 80% of workers on average on H-2B visas tend to be Mexican. So, it's interesting to see him not put his money where his mouth is.
All right, last word to Javier on this.
JD, talking about hypocrisy, you have the KCOMs of the world pushing President Obama, and President Obama is the biggest hypocrite himself because he's deported more Hispanics in his tenure as president than any other president in the history of the United States of America, and then he wants to bring them all back and grant them all amnesty. Go figure.
Well, those numbers are a little skeptical, but we can get in that. We'll have to save that discussion for another day. For now, Franco Ripple, Javier Manjarres, and Ray Negron. Gentlemen, you have our thanks for a very lively discussion. Donald Trump remains at the top of GOP polls. Critics say he doesn't have a plan, but he's written a book that offers his plan. It's entitled Time to Get Tough. It outlines the Donald's plans to roll back Obama's policies, secure the border, deal with China, terrorism, and much more. Newsmax has an offer for you to get that book for free. Go to newsmax.com/Trump book and get your copy today.